Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's a boy, IFBB Pro, Matt Butale. Today, we're going to be talking about the eat whatever's at home diet. All right. This episode pertains to you if you're one of those people that only eats whatever's in the fridge, whatever your wife makes, whatever your mom makes, whatever it is that you deal with. You're not the one that's responsible for cooking your food, and you're not even responsible or allowed to have responsibility regarding diet. Okay. If you want a diet, you have to eat what everyone's eating, and you're not necessarily allowed to like provide your own meals for yourself, right? Like you're not allowed to ration your own stuff because that's like deemed as selfish. If that's something that you struggle with or experience, then this is the episode for you. I was talking to somebody yesterday in my DMs about it, so I decided to make an episode about it today, just to bring attention to it because this is outrageous. I'm surprised that people still deal with this, or at least think it's like an excuse as to why they, cannot lose the weight, as to why they cannot diet, which is pretty, honestly, it's pretty shit. Yo, what's good? Matthew says, full disclosure, yeah, I'm not gonna read that, but I see you, dog. Shout out to you. All right, people, so we'll be getting into today's podcast very shortly. I just want to let you know that if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to drop them in the comment section, and at the very end I will try my best to respond to as many questions and comments as possible. And I won't be responding to any of them as I record the podcast because I want to get a clean bite for these people. With that said, with that out the way, we'll be diving into today's podcast episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, the returning champion, IFBB Pro, Matt Butale, and today I'm going to be breaking down the fact that not cooking or having a family fridge is not an excuse as to why you can't lose weight. All right. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday in the DMs, so I decided to make an episode about it today. Hopefully he knows who he is. And honestly, he's not the only one. There are some people like it. And you might be listening to this, and this might be you as well. So if it's something that you struggle with, being able to essentially have your own meals in the fridge and, eat them because it's your own diet. If you can't do that, you're not allowed to do that, whatever it is, something prevents you from basically, having your own diet, whether it's you have kids or you're living with your family. This is the episode for you. I'm just gonna have a little bit of a tough love conversation with you, and on top of that, also give you the only alternative that you have here in order to succeed with your diet while not, cooking for yourself. Okay, because again, that's a big issue. If you can't cook for yourself, there's pretty much almost no way you can effectively diet, because you're going to be relying on too many outside sources, and you won't be able to, control all of the variables. And with less control is less accuracy, and with less accuracy is less results. So we want to be able to make sure that we're in control. All right. So with that said, again, this episode is for the dudes that don't cook their own meals, or the dudettes, whoever is listening to this. I'm not going to hold any punches this episode. Again, as I was saying earlier on, I was talking to a man who's been struggling, to lose weight in my DMs, right? He's been struggling. He was about 275 pounds last year, or for 2 years ago, and then now I think he's about 242 or 240. So he lost some weight, but he has been at 240 for over a year. Like he just can't break under the 240, right? And when I asked him, yo, bro, like why can't you break under the 240? Like what's going on here? He says the main reason why he isn't able to is because he wasn't allowed to quote unquote withhold food to himself for himself in his household. Okay. Now there's a difference, being selfish and all that in this. If you grew up in a big family, you know what I'm talking about. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't just like have your own shit. You got to have shit with other people, right? You got to share. So I understand that much. Or if you've got kids, right? You got to share. So whatever's in the fridge is what everyone can have, not just what you can have, right? So with that into consideration, like when I took that in, I was like, okay, well, I get where he's coming from, but I don't understand how that's a legit excuse. Okay, because again, it's food that he pays for, right? And it's not for just because, oh, I want to eat this specific thing. Like I know a lot of dads and moms that buy their own candies and chips and hide it, and none of the rest of the kids can touch it. But when it comes to this thing, when it comes to his diet, he tells me, he says, I can't withhold food. I can't just like buy chicken and turkey, whatever, and then meal prep it because I've got family and they want to eat it. And I mean, regardless of if they have other stuff, you can't have your own separate thing. That's what he's telling me. And I'm like, bro, like you pay for this stuff. And it's not even because you want it because it tastes good. You want it because it's for your health. So I asked him, I'm like, dude, even for your health, you cannot separate like your food, essentially your medicine, from the food that everybody eats. And that's when I thought to myself, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And I mean, someone here on the live says, if you pay for it, it's yours. I totally fucking agree. Right. However, we have families and stuff like that. And I'm still not going to say that it's a valid excuse. It's not a valid excuse. If you're one of those people that say, oh, I can't diet because I got to eat with the kids, or, eating and all this, it's bullshit. You're just literally, where did you even get that excuse from? Like, you have space in the fridge. It is your money. It is your food. And again, it's not because you want to withhold something from your kids or your family. It's because you want to improve your life. You actually want to burn more fat, okay, and probably build more muscle in the process, so that not only you could be healthier for yourself, but you could be healthier for your children as well. Like, you can go fucking play with them or actually run. I don't know if that's what you're into. But again, it's not a legit excuse, in my opinion, to hold or to say to yourself that, I can't diet because if I get healthy food in my fridge, I got to withhold it from everybody else. Who gives a fuck about everyone else if they're not on your journey with you? That's the real question, right? Again, I said I'm not holding any punches here, but it's true. Like, you can't limit yourself based off of the perceptions of anybody else, even if it is your family. Like, what are they going to do? It's not like they're going to eat your food by accident. You know what I mean? I mean, if we're being honest here, the food that gets you fat, that tastes really, really, really good. I mean, meal prep still tastes good, but the food that gets you fat tastes really, really fucking good. They're going to touch that anyway. That's theirs, right? You are the one that's sort of using them as a scapegoat for not wanting to actually put all of your, eggs in a basket and fucking diet and like actually do the thing. I mean, whether or not, if it's true or not, like, there should be a boundary that you set with everybody else in your household, whether it's your wife, whether it's your kids or whoever, that, hey, this is mine and I'm doing this thing. It's for a purpose, regardless. Even if it's not for a purpose, like, let's just not talk about food. Let's talk about other stuff. Okay. Let's talk about like laundry or cleaning or like cooking. These are all essential skills, right? Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't know how to cook once you're old enough to touch a stove. Do we all agree? Right? I mean, think about it. Again, let's just step back. Not even talking about food. Think of clothing. The clothing that you buy. All right? I want to ask you, if you're this person that isn't allowed to withhold food and, cannot diet because the rest of the family's got to eat what I've got to eat. I'm going to ask you this, especially if you're a man. If you're a woman, it still applies to you as well. Are you not allowed to wear the clothes that you bought at home because you won't share it with anybody? Like, mind you, these clothes are bought by you to fit only you, right? This is for your journey per se, your style journey, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This is for you. Like, that is your clothes for you, period. All right? Do you have to wear, onesies because you have a 1-year-old that wears onesies? And you're not like, do you understand how silly it fucking sounds? It sounds really dumb. It's the exact same thing with food. Do you get my point? Especially if this food is, being ingested so that you get like an outcome, a positive outcome. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how could you imagine saying, and this is what I always think about whenever I hear this, it really drives me nuts. Like, you go to your wife or you go to whoever you're living with in your family, I'm really fucking overweight, as you can see. And I really, I want to take it under control. I want to diet and I want to burn the fat. And they go, no, you got to eat what everyone else has got to eat. Stay fat. Like, can you fucking imagine? Like, that's what it sounds like to me when people tell me, like, yo, I can't diet because I got to eat what everyone else is eating at home, even though I pay for the food. What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely nuts. It makes me go crazy. And yes, I do understand that you may have small children that are picky eaters, so on and so forth, but that doesn't exempt you from the fact that you can actually prepare your own fucking shit and put it in the fridge. The fact that they eat what they eat has nothing to do with you eating what you got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay, like, anyway, like, even if you know how to cook, all right, like, you may not always have the time, right? You got a family, you're busy. Or again, let's just, for the lack of a better term, just to stay consistent, let's say you aren't allowed to cook or prep meals differently than what the family eats. Okay. If that's what you're dealing with, if that's what you struggle with, and like, absolutely no matter what, you cannot touch the stove. All right. What I'm gonna say is this: like, let's say your wife or your partner or your family member helps you out and they're cooking, right? Since you can't cook, you have no time or whatever it is. While there's nothing wrong with that, it can make your fitness journey more challenging if you don't take more responsibility where you can. So if you're not cooking it and you don't know everything that's going into the food, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Okay. It's straight up. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult to see progress. All right. Like, understand that. And guys, like, the reason why it's going to be more difficult for you to see progress when other people are cooking your food is simply because you're not cooking it. You don't know how much oil they're using, how much butter they're using, and all these other weird things that add up to total calories. Like, you just see a bowl of rice, right? And you're going to pop into your MyFitnessPal, oh, this is just like a regular bowl of rice. And it's not, because there's a lot of butter in it, there's a lot of oil in it, there's this, there's that. And I mean, seasonings, dry herbs really don't matter. They're not really like, they don't have calories. It doesn't fucking matter. But it's usually the oils and the butters that fuck everybody up. So again, same thing goes on with restaurants. You just think you're getting like a whatever rice that you're getting, but there's rice plus all the oil and butter in it, and you don't know the calories for that because you didn't cook it. All right. So you cannot rely on that. You cannot rely on that at all. All right. That's one thing I want you guys to understand. You can't rely on that. And it's going to make your journey more challenging, the more you rely on that, because you're going to swear you're measuring the accurate amount of foods, but at the end of the day, like, the weight isn't going down. Why is that? Well, because even though you're measuring the rice correctly, the caloric value of that rice isn't, like, it's not consistent and it's not accurate because of all the other things that you didn't know were put into it, and you didn't even know the measurements that they were put into it. So you can't even do the guesstimation of how much oil or rice is in what you're eating, or oil or butter is in what you're eating, right? Like, it makes your journey difficult if you don't take a bit more responsibility where you can. And I've noticed so many people tell me that they only eat what their mom or their wife or their whatever the family member cooks. Like, a lot of people still to this day tell me that. Okay. And if I'm being honest, it absolves them of accountability from what's on their plate. Like, they're just saying basically, it's in the hands of somebody else, and I'm just gonna eat it, and I hope that it fucking makes me lose weight. Like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, how are you gonna lose weight? You tell me, because I'm fucking surprised now. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Like, it's news to me. I've never seen anybody, successfully lose weight and not be in control of the variables in their nutrition protocol. Like, it's just not gonna happen. You can train as hard as you want, but that bowl of rice that you think is 200 calories really is 450 calories because of the oil and butter. And you would never know that. And you will never know that because you'll never get the results. You'll just think that, oh, well, carbs are bad for me, so eating rice is bad, so I should just not eat rice. And then you're going to train and then feel weak as shit because you have no glycogen. And it's like, no, it's not that carbs are bad. It's that when the rice is being made, you're not in control of it. And there's so many extra calories in it that you don't even fucking know. And now you're eating all this and you're gaining weight, or you're not losing weight, and you're confused. You think it's the rice's fault. No, it's the fact that you aren't fucking cooking your food. And the moment you cook your food, the moment you know what the fuck is going into your body 1,000,000,000%, you're Gucci. Okay. Which is why, like, I'll always say, like, especially for men, like, don't just like let your wife cook. All right. Like, don't just let your wife cook. Get your hands in the fucking game. Like, get in the kitchen. Okay. Start cooking up. You want to know what's in the food that you're prepping for yourself, especially if it's goal related. If you're oriented around a goal, like, you want to get this physique, you want to get a six pack, you want to get rid of your love handles, you want to get rid of your man boobs, and it's your responsibility to do that. So you got to go into the kitchen and make sure that your fucking food is sharp, because what your wife is going to cook is for the rest of the family. What your mom is going to cook is for the rest of the family. Like, you can't rely on that. And if you decide to rely on that because it's just easier, like, you'd rather not cook, then have fun being fat, because you'll stay that way, guaranteed. No matter how hard you train, you just won't know what's in the food. And if you have no accuracy, you get no results. Like, it's just that simple. Right. And again, I'm not saying that you should never eat home cooked meals. That's not the message in this episode. But what I am saying is that just because someone cooks your food for you doesn't mean you can't at least measure your portion to try to stay aligned with your fat loss journey. Again, it makes it more challenging because you're not the one cooking the food. It makes it way less accurate, again, because you're not the one cooking the food. You don't actually know what's in it. You don't know how much oil and butter or whatever sauces that have calories are in it. Okay, tomato paste for my people that are from back home and all that. Like, you don't know how much of anything is really in there. So yes, you can try to measure and portion and control all this stuff, but the fact of the matter is, it's still going to be extremely difficult. Even if you do it, you might still not see results. So I'm really just giving you an option that's just better than nothing, right? It doesn't mean that it's good at all. Measuring food that you don't know what the food is or what the food value is, still kind of playing guesstimation, right? But it's better than nothing. But the ultimate thing I'd recommend you do is actually get into the kitchen and cook the food yourself, regardless of if you got the family there or your wife there and all this and that. And if they go, well, you're not going to eat what we're eating, well, no, you say I have a goal. I want to achieve this. I want to get rid of my body fat. I want to, get better sleeping. So I want to reduce my obesity. I want to reduce my cholesterol, lower my blood pressure. I want to be able to be more fit, have my joints working better. Like health reasons out the roof. I want my mental health to be better. I want to be more confident, right? That's the reason. That's your goal. Cool. Now, just you don't have to justify that to anybody because what are they going to say? Oh, you shouldn't, strive to be a better version of yourself simply because we have food in the fridge that we already cooked for you that's going to keep you in the position that you're in. And even if you measure it and try to be sharp with it, it still won't help. Like that's a big slap in the face to the future you. You don't want that shit. You don't want that. And if you do want that, it's because you don't want to actually succeed in your fitness journey and you're lazy. As I said, I wasn't going to hold back any punches. It just is what it is. All right. Saying I got to eat whatever my wife makes or I got to eat whatever's at home is not a legit excuse, guys. It's not. It's you confessing and admitting that you're too lazy to actually fucking do your own shit. And even if it's a rule at home or within your marriage to like, we all got to eat the same thing, talk to them about it. Say, hey, I want to improve my life. And me eating a certain way is going to help improve my life. Are you with me or are you against me improving my life? Period. Like, what's the deal there? How that's not a hard conversation to have. And I would like to think that if they fucking love you, they would let you do it. I don't even know why they would let you because it's your body, it's your money. But if they love you, they would support it. That's what I would like to think. And if they don't, then I mean, have fun. There's nothing I can tell you because you're not even listening. Right? Again, we all have a responsibility for what we put in our mouths. Get into the habit of using a food scale at the very least. But one thing I would always recommend, which is the point of this fucking episode, is to cook your own goddamn food regardless. All right? That's the message. That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. Let's embrace our inner meathead together. Hope you like what today's topic is about. IFBB PRO Matt Butale signing out. Boom. All right, bro. Bro, that's podcast is recorded. I'm going to see some of those comments on TikTok and then I'm going to run. Let's see. Shout out to everybody that joined. I appreciate the roses, Tay. What's up? Hello SRX. Hello SAR. Yeah, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm not even looking at this. We all lose the weight. I don't know. Most of these people on this app don't speak English, I don't think. NDM Games, happy birthday. Tay, what's good? He says, if you pay for it, it's yours. That doesn't sound right. A client told you that. No, it wasn't a client. It was a friend of mine, if you're still here. What does it do? I'm not reading that shit. That'll be crazy. Smash. Bro, you people on TikTok are crazy. Another one. Every single live stream I get that you look like Kawhi Leonard. That's hilarious. That's just funny. But okay. I appreciate you for tuning in. Starting my first bulk, do you have any preference for protein powder that won't get you bloated? I mean, what are you, Beverly? I don't know. So if you get bloated from protein powders, which ones have bloated you? Just never take those ones. I would recommend. I don't know where you live and what access you have to like certain protein powders, but if you're still here, I would say just look for anything that's just whey isolate. Don't, a lot of people think like, oh, just protein powder is like mass gain or whatever. Like typically mass gainers will get you bloated and you'll feel a little bit of discomfort in your stomach. Just go for a pure whey isolate. I've never noticed people really getting bloated with it. And if you are, I mean, that there are pretty much other factors that are keeping you bloated, and it's not really the protein. I would beg to differ. It's the protein, but eat whole foods. Don't rely on protein powder. I mean, you're a lady, and you're not going to be eating like 300 grams of protein. You don't need protein powder. Like you don't need it. You know what I mean? It's convenient to have, but you can get all of your protein, especially at your height and weight, through cooking food. And it would be better for you. You're getting more out of it. That's what I'd recommend. Taylor, what's good? Hey, bud, how you been? What's up? Someone's spamming here. Can I have a hug? I'm going through lots of things with my parents. Sending a hug to you, Jess. Stay strong, yo. Hilarious. You guys are jokes. Let's see here on Instagram what we got. Let's see. Yo, what's up, people? Jaden, what's up? What's happening? Tokos, bro, I see you, man. Jabron, Joe. Mario, what's good? Miss you, dog. Just Tay, what's happening? Yep, Joe says discipline. You know what time it is, bro. Wilski, what's up? Eddie, Adam, Shaq, what's good? Abdullah, what's up? Jerome, Kai, Manraj, what's good? Do a weird double quiz, bro. I'm not doing that shit. This guy's crazy. Yo, yeah, all right, people. That's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Be back again with another episode. You know what time we're on. Peace.